someone like him who, came in and sacrificed himself for this great cause. Which is why politicians are looked down upon in the world, because they say they're coming to help the people and they really help themselves.
This is a huge problem, and I think it's interesting from a spiritual perspective. A lot of the ethical traditions that we have, and not just in the Muslim community, the source of this is arrogance, and because it's the idea that the human being somehow has only responsibility to himself, that he's not responsible to anything above himself. So he in essence makes himself like a god, and that gets to how do we just in terms of as a community, how do we get out of the conditions that we find ourselves in? Because I think a lot of Muslims, have looked at the Muslim world for some time and seen the type of rulers that exist in the Muslim world, and I think there's so much animosity, unfortunately. So instead of like praying for people, because one of the things that traditionally, like in the Imam Tahawi's creed, he says that we have to pray for our leaders, that there's this idea that as you are, so are the people put over you, so that if the people themselves are corrupt, they very often get that type of leadership. So how do we get out of that situation? I mean, I know the trials and tribulations that go with leadership. Like I said, I run a very small college, and the headaches that I have just from that, the lack of sleep, the difficulties that come with that. And so I can't imagine the type of burden that somebody like yourself would have on your shoulders. So what's the light at the end of the tunnel that's not an oncoming train?
Sheikh Hamza, when I started politics, I only came into politics. If I did not have Iman or faith, I would never have come into politics, because I had everything. I mean, I was already a big name in my country, a sports star, and I had, respect, and I had, the money I wanted for my life. I had enough money. So, for me to spend 22 years of my life struggling to, become a prime minister, it made no sense. Why would someone like me who had everything? So the only reason was I believed that I had a responsibility to my society because I was given more than others.